You're like, I'll coach a person that is coachable. I'm not going to keep trying to coach a person. See, that resonated with you. You're like,
Yes,
okay,
right
if you
on.
ain't gonna listen to what I'm saying, then I'm moving on.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. That's what a leader. So I'm going into the weeds here because I want people who actually take this assessment to realize the depth of the information in here.
Yeah. Welcome to the Workforce Link podcast, where we're offering forward-thinking conversations for the workforce, linking employers and job seekers to a brighter tomorrow. I'm your host, Sundi Jo. Glad to be back with you for another episode. So I can't believe that we're about to close out season 6 of the Workforce Link already. Like, we've had some amazing episodes this season, some amazing interviews. I hope that you have enjoyed them as much as I have enjoyed them. I love to learn. So when I'm doing these interviews with you, with our guests, I'm learning right alongside you. So I love it. And I also love just how the timing works out for everything. Didn't have this planned. Love how the timing worked out. We had our next guest on last season, and so we're closing out this season again with Ken Coleman. So before we get to more about Ken, here's a question I have for you. Do we ever ask ourselves this question? What was I born to do? You know, we talk about finding our why a lot on this podcast, which fits into this question. What was I born to do? Well, in order to answer that question, we've got to do an assessment, right, of our lives, our careers, etc. We got to dive a bit deeper. And I always love a good assessment. And in Ken's new book, Find the Work That You're Wired to Do, he helps you do that. He helps you assess and get to the heart of who you are and how you're wired. And so once you have a clear picture of the type of work that you do best, Ken's going to show you how to use your results to get specific, very specific in your job search, to grow in your career, and to make more money doing work that you enjoy. I actually took the assessment myself, and we're going to dive into it a little bit together in this episode. Ken Coleman is a career expert and author of the national best-selling book From Paycheck to Purpose and the #1 national bestseller, The Proximity Principle. He hosts the Ken Coleman Show, a nationally syndicated caller-driven show that helps listeners discover what they were born to do. Ken makes regular appearances on Fox News, and he co-hosts The Ramsey Show, the second largest talk show in the nation with 18 million weekly listeners. Through his speaking, broadcasting, and syndicated columns, Ken gives people expert career advice, providing strategic steps to grow professionally, land their dream job, and get promoted. I am excited to have Ken back on the Workforce Link today. So let's get to it. Here's my interview with Ken Coleman on how to find the work you're wired to do. Ken, great to have you back again today. Thanks for coming again.
Yeah, always fun to talk with you.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I just want to dive right in. I'm excited about what you're doing. I'm excited about your new book. But I'm even more excited about this career assessment. I had the opportunity to take it before we did this interview, and I thought maybe we could just dive into it a little bit today.
I love it.
So tell us about, before we do that, so you got a new book coming out, Find the Work That You're Wired to Do.
That's right.
Love the title already.
Thank you.
Super excited about this book. So tell us a little bit about it before we dive in and how that relates to this career assessment we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I wrote the book as a coaching supplement to the assessment. So I consider the book and the assessment one thing.
Okay.
Because it's like two tools that work together. The assessment itself, which we're going to unpack for people with your results, gives a person tremendous clarity, a lot of clarity on how they're designed, how they're put together. So it answers the big question, who I am. Okay. And for some people, it will automatically create ideas to answer the question, what do I want to do? And where can I do it? But a lot of people can still get kind of hung up on all my choices. I'm now aware, and my heart and head are beginning to align because of my purpose statement, and I can see professional purpose, but I'm having a hard time selecting potential paths or destinations. So I wrote this book, very short. You can read it in 45 minutes, but it picks the user up at their assessment results. In fact, we start the book by going, stop, don't read anything more until you've got your results. And so now I come in and I coach you on how to answer those the next three questions. Question one is, who am I? The assessment does that. What do I want to do? Where can I do it?
Yeah.
And are those next two big questions? And that essentially allows you to go, okay, now I know how to get there.
Okay. Love
And
it.
and so that's why it's a combination. The book by itself doesn't work. The assessment by itself uh it gets me into a place of awareness. For some, it's all they need. For others, they need this book. So it's a companion
Okay.
idea, like a strength finder, except as you know, this methodology is so much more um personal and relevant than a personality profile. It's not a
Right.
personality profile, as you know. So, and I
Yes.
think your audience will get this quick when they see your results.
Put that disclaimer out right now. It's not another personality profile.
Yeah, thank God. We don't need another one of those.
Well, we talk a lot about on this podcast about finding your why. I'm a big advocate of that, and so I think
Yeah.
this totally fits in with what were you born to do, what were you wired to do, and let's figure out how to make that happen for you. So, I guess let's dive into let's just get vulnerable and dive into my
Yeah.
own assessment.
Love it.
So, my top three, my talents were connection, compassion, and communication.
Top three talents are, again, connection,
Connection, compassion, communication.
compassion, communication. Okay. All right. That's what she does best. All right. And let's go passion. And these are the types of work that you enjoy most. What are those three?
So my passions were leading, performing, and advocating.
Oh, I'm seeing a pattern develop. And so that's what you love to do most. And then mission we define as results that motivate you.
Yes.
What
So
was your top result?
my mission was to influence by producing change and progress.
Yeah. Okay. So right out of the gate, quick analysis. It's your podcast. You can ask any question you want, but right out of the gate, here's what's fun about this, folks. There are 4 types of work in the world. You can take every job, every career path, and you can put it into 4 categories. We'll call them buckets of work. Idea work. Okay. I think that's ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You could be an inventor to somebody like me who's an author. Okay. So idea work, object work. So you're working with, hammer, nail, saw, building, wood making, fixing mechanical work, if you think of that. Process work, people work. I'm trying to go alphabetical here. And people work. And again, you're working directly with people. So that's everything from healthcare to counseling. We get that. All right.
Yeah.
And then the last one is process work. So this is more of your systems type people, everything from an accountant to a project manager, if you will, right? And by the way, you take all the world of work again here and all the jobs, all the career paths, they can be in multiple buckets. So for instance, as an author, a speaker, a broadcaster, I'm in the bucket of people and ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in the object work and I'm not process work. So that gives you an idea. So I look at your results, and she's got the top talents of connection, compassion, and communication. Screams people. And I also see some potential idea stuff in there. Potential. Then you look at the work you love, leading, performing, and advocating.
Yeah.
Again, screaming people in neon. And then just to knock it completely out of the park, your top missional result, the result that motivates you, is influence, and that's all people.
Yeah.
So you better be doing people work, and it's because it's obvious you're good at people work.
Yeah.
So does that resonate with you?
Yes, and I am definitely doing people work. But what's interesting in that is, and I'm sure we'll get to that, but I had just said to somebody the other day, I needed a break because it was too peoply out there. There were too many people. And which fits into that thing, I think, where we can kind of sometimes get out of balance of, not resting or taking time for ourselves because we are with people.
Yeah. Well, let's stay there for a second. Let's stay right there. So how is it possible that you are designed to do good people stuff and you love people stuff and it motivates you to drive influence of people, how could it be too many people? So do you have your results right there in front of you, your direct results?
Yeah.
Because I want you to go to connection first. That's your top talent.
Uh-huh.
I want you to actually look at your page, and the assessment provides some unique blind spots because with every talent, there's kind of an underbelly. In other words, the other side of the coin can be ugly if we're out of balance. So
Right.
healthy connection versus unhealthy connection. And so I want you to read for everybody your talent traps on connection.
Okay, so my talent traps are becoming a relationship vampire, using people and spreading myself too thin with too many relationships. Ding, ding, ding.
Boom.
Which is so interesting because I work from home. So during the day, I'm not around people. So I have to be very diligent in making sure I'm around people, but then I can still get that out of balance.
Boom. So the issue here is you have to be healthy, and when
Yep.
you try to do too much, and that's why I put that talent trap there
Yeah.
just under connection. Let's keep this theme going here just to freak people out. Let's read the talent traps for compassion because I think you're going to see some
Okay.
enlightening there as well. Read the
Yeah.
talent traps for compassion, which is your number 2 talent.
Okay. So burning yourself out by over-serving becomes your identity. Giving help when it's counterproductive. So the giving help when it's counterproductive could also be labeled codependency, right?
100%. So again, we're speaking to our health.
Right.
So and the reason I put this in there is because what happens as humans is that we love excelling. We love doing good. We love being challenged and meeting the challenge. That's how we're wired as
Right.
humans.
Right.
So the unhealthy side of that is I'm really good at connection. And boy, I get a little buzz off of that. I get a big buzz off of it.
Right.
And I want to keep going, 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 going. And I don't watch myself. And maybe I'm having a bad day in some other area. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go look for that high
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else in my area of talent. So it's just a nice little, it's like your side mirrors on the car. It
Right.
helps you see your blind spots. So back to your actual issue, you were a little confused there, the way you set that question up, listener.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
pay attention to that? She
Yeah.
was kind of like, okay, I'm people, Kim, but I just said to a friend the other day, whew, I got too many people things going on. And the
Yeah.
issue is you don't have too many people things going on. You aren't guarding yourself or you are trying to medicate yourself.
Right.
And it
Right.
might be both. It might be you're trying to medicate a little bit, and as a result, you didn't guard.
Right.
And so it's just too much. I mean, you give a kid too much candy, watch out, right?
Yeah, you're so right, because that's something that I've been working on is, you can't give from an empty cup for sure. And
You cannot give what you do not have.
yeah, and if you're not coming from a place of rest, you're going to get yourself in trouble. So I'm in the learning phase of that.
Hey,
Not
welcome to the
necessarily the
party.
learning phase. I'm in the
Yeah.
remembering and being
100%.
reminded this isn't a good
100%.
direction phase. Yeah.
Remember, this assessment is designed to give you so much self-awareness
Yes.
that you then have the agency or you have the ability to course correct, to
Right.
self-correct, and go, oh, okay. And so that's the whole thing. Look, because this is about getting better. This is about
Yes.
improvement. You cannot improve when you don't know where you need to improve. And so at its core, that's what this assessment is designed to do, is let you see yourself at your best,
Right.
your design, and then go, okay, what needs to change?
Yeah.
Or when I get there, how do I stay there?
And you can't move forward without self-awareness.
Yeah, cannot at all. I will tell you, I've
Been
said
there,
this
done that.
before. I probably said this to you on our last podcast together, but self-awareness is a superpower.
It is. You did say that. I remember it.
Yeah, I say it too much probably, but it
No.
really bears repeating because I have to remind myself of that.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay, so we've got compassion and communication, right?
So
So
those are your top talents. So think of those as your power tools. So again, I'll go anywhere you want to go with this. If you want to dive deep into your results, but those are your power tools. And so for you, you need to be spending three-fourths of your day using the talent of connection.
Hey there, taking a quick break to share something with you. Picture yourself standing behind the counter at the shoe store. A customer walks in and wants to buy the best pair of shoes you have. They want a quality product, but also want to save money. There's another shoe store across the street having a huge sale, but the customer came to you first. You only have a few minutes to explain why the customer should buy your shoes versus the shoes across the street. You help the customer try the shoes on, all the while explaining the benefits of the cushioning, the upgraded technology, the comfort, and not to mention how fantastic they look. Well, think of your elevator pitch the same way when you're in a job interview with a potential employer. Your elevator pitch is a brief explanation describing the benefits of buying a product, except you are that product. An elevator pitch is one of the most important tools you have when applying for a job. When you position yourself with confidence and you clearly summarize your experience, your skills, your desirable characteristics, the employer is ready to listen. So, put in a nutshell, you're going to impress the employer. And we want to help you do that. That's why we created How to Create the Perfect Elevator Pitch, a free guide with 4 proven simple steps that will help you wow your next employer. You can download it for free today at cwdregion.com/elevator pitch, and I will share the link in the show notes for you. Now, let's get back to the show.
In other words,
yeah, I love that.
You're really good at getting on the same page with other people. It's just a superpower of yours. Compassion, that's your heart. That means you need to be spending 3/4 of your day. And this is a rule of thumb. I mean, some days it's 50-50, but if you're spending, most of your workday not using these talents, you are going to feel drained and frustrated. That's the whole point. And so you need to be doing work that allows you to use your big heart to feel what others are feeling, to do something about their problem. The act of compassion, if I were going to simplify it, would be the act of helping. And so if you are connecting with people, helping people, and communicating, and again, all 3 of those are in a hula hoop for you as far as that's what you do best.
Right.
And so if you're using that talent to communicate to others to where you can now connect with them and then act on their behalf, man, that's a great day for you.
Love it. So there's this part in the assessment that talks about ignoring your subpar talents.
Yes.
I would love to dive into that a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So in the Western Hemisphere, for whatever reason, somewhere along the line, we started telling people and we started believing it that we needed to work on our weaknesses. And I think this probably gets its foothold. The biggest culprit, if you will, of this idea is our traditional school system, right? Think about it. You take a quiz, you take a test, and they tell you everything you got wrong on it. Now a teacher could go, well, we also tell them what they got right. Well, no, because when you grade a paper, it's X marks.
Yeah, the red is not what you got right.
Yeah, 100%. We're focusing on that, and so you are scored. You are measured from the earliest of ages on your performance. Okay, and what is pointed out is what you got wrong, because you're scored on that. Now, I know some teachers would argue with me and go, well, no, it's on what you got right. No, it's not. It's just not. Nobody in their right mind looks at their test score unless you get 100 and you go, I got them all right. Other than that, even with a 95, you go, well, I got most of them right. And you're already starting to do it. So the point is that, okay, you got to get better. So you bring home a C or a D. What do your parents do? What does the teacher say? Well, you got a progress report. You got a D in this.
Right.
So I got to get better at it. Well, there are obvious times where someone is just mailing it in and the kid's not applying themselves. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is, let's use me as an example. terrible at math and science. I
Me too.
just don't have the ability. And because I don't have the ability, I don't have the interest.
Right
Well,
there with you.
it was always a stressor for my dad. Oh, you need to do better than that. You know, da, 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 da. And it's like, no, 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 no. And so what's happened is and then by the way, it's, we've got self-help products, self-improvement products. It's all about this, get better, get better, get better. And I say yay to that. If I'm good at it, I
Right.
want to get better. But if I suck at it, the best I can be is average.
Right. Let me
Now,
tell you,
who wants that?
I got a D on an algebra in an algebra class in college, and I never worked so hard for that D in my entire life, and I was so
Yeah,
proud of it because I
right.
finally passed, and they were going to get me out of there.
Great. Which, by the way, okay, let's applaud the resilience for you. Yes.
Oh,
But the problem is what's lost in the resilience is the message that it sends to us that, well, we got to keep working on things that we're weak
oh,
at. No, we don't.
yeah,
No, we don't.
so good.
No, we do not. You know what we need to do? We need to make sure that we apply for jobs and pursue work that we're really good at, because then we got a chance to be great. And oh, by the way, for all the things that I suck at, there are a billion people on the planet that are great at it, and that's
Yes,
why we're all needed. And
yes,
we all get that. But the bottom line is that uh, focusing on improving your weaknesses is a recipe for frustration and potential desperation. But focusing on what you're good at and your strengths and what you love to do and what motivates you, that's a recipe for fulfillment and unbelievable success.
mhm,
Financially, living the life that you want, which is freedom of options. And so that's why I teach everything that I teach. It's the dumbest thing in the world. And our school system and then the marketing out there, it's like, you need to get better at this. No, 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 I don't. I don't actually have to get better at it.
yeah,
Because there's people out there that are really good at it, and I'll pay them to do it. Like, I
right,
don't need to take a course on how to do plumbing. I just need to pay my plumber.
right,
I suck at plumbing. I can't figure out anything. I can't fix a car, but my brother can. My brother can replace an engine. I only know how to blow engines up.
right.
And this is the way the world works.
And your brother would probably say, I would be totally out of my comfort zone to sit here and do a podcast interview.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we're just wired differently.
Yep.
And so if we understand that the opportunity for greatness lies within our uniqueness, changes your entire outlook on life.
Yeah. So good. Yeah, so this is part of what it says, ignore your subpar talents, which you covered.
That's the idea. So if you're so I'm sorry, I got a little bit
No, no, you're good.
on a bender there. Okay. So there are 12 universal talents that I take the world of skill and just kind of put it in those buckets for simplicity. And so we give everybody your top 3. We also show you your solid talents where, okay, it's above the average line.
Hmm.
But then we show you where you're not talented. And we feel that's really important to go, look, when it comes to your subpar talents, don't stress over them anymore. Like, make moves to remove them
Right.
from your everyday work. Remove them from your life, and life's gonna be so much better. And so that's the idea. And it's there to kind of go to look at yourself and give yourself a break to go, oh wow, I've been doing work for the last 5 to 6 years that, man, 35% of my day is in an area that's kind of a subpar talent. And I've figured out how to get there, but it's like you working your tail off to get a D.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this episode as much as I am. Just wanted to interrupt for a quick second to invite you to check out our Central Missouri Job Centers. With multiple locations throughout the Central region, we have an excited staff waiting to assist you with all of your employment related needs. Columbia, Rolla, Lebanon, Lake of the Ozarks, and more. Whether you're looking for employment, you want to go back to school and earn an education, or you're an employer trying to find your next great team member, Job Center staff are ready to help you today. You can find your closest job center at cwdregion.com/jobcenters, and I will share the link in the show notes for you. That's cwdregion.com/jobcenters. Now, let's get back to the show.
What's the point of that? Because you're going, I'm working my butt off and I'm not going to get promoted for that.
No, I just wanted to survive it.
And see, that's my whole point. I want a life of thriving, not surviving.
Yeah. Algebra's
Oh,
about as dumb as spiders.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. Never will.
So, let's talk about passion for a second. I love this description on the assessment. It says you're
Okay.
about to discover the work that excites you and makes 2 hours feel like 20 minutes.
Yes.
Love that
Yes.
description.
Yeah. Well, that's just real. It's
Yeah.
real. It's actually been described as flow by a world famous psychologist, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, who spent 30 years studying this state that he called flow. And it was he calls flow, and I'm simplifying it as essentially where the challenge is great or high level of challenge, but you have the skill to meet the challenge. And so we've just talked about talent. Well, the state of flow that he talks about is that I really enjoy the work and I enjoy the challenge of the work.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I call it a passion. It's like I really love engaging. This gets me going.
Yeah.
And
Fired
and
up.
so yeah, that's it. I call it the juice. And so um, it's really, really important to be able to understand the kind of work that, man, you are just so engaged in it because it's challenging and you're good at it's like the video game. We've
Mm-hmm.
all had a video game experience where it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't blinked in the last 90 minutes. And so you're fully engaged, and it's because of the love of the challenge and the love of meeting the challenge.
Yeah. So mine was my top passion was
W-
leading,
Yeah.
performing, and advocating. And honestly, that just sums me up
Yeah. 100%. What do
totally.
you love about leading? What do you love?
I love leading others to become the best version of themselves.
Hmm. Yeah. Tell me more though. What do you
Well,
give me in the nitty gritty, give me
yeah,
a real life example of you were in the process of this leading and you go, I love this specific thing that happened or that I got to do here.
being able to help somebody figure out their own dreams, figure out their own why, figure out, I've been working with somebody personally that has been in a broken marriage who's finally starting
Mm,
to figure out their own identity. And when I
mm,
walk away from that and realize I've got to play a small role in leading that person to know who they truly are, like,
yeah.
doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, so in that process, my guess is there's some digging in the form
Yes.
of you asking questions.
Yes.
There is some analyzing going on where you're kind of sifting through here and you're kind of going, okay, and then um eh, what's interesting is that performing and advocating are both popping up in this friend relationship that you've got, that you're
Hmm.
walking through with this friend. Here's where it's happening when they rely on you and they're sitting with you and we both know in this situation you and them, that's the we, you go, all right, we're digging on this, like this is this person is, they're going through a really tough, we're talking about big life decisions and they're asking for my advice. Woo, that's pressure.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be for sure.
Well, that's the performing piece.
Especially when I'm like, I'm not married. I don't know. Don't ask me questions about marriage.
Right. But my point is that I want people to understand when you hear the word performing, it doesn't mean in a circus or on a Broadway stage. It could,
Right. Yeah.
but the reason I chose the word performing, I have a passion for performing. It means that I love the spotlight pressure, meaning
I
you
gotcha.
don't have to
Yeah.
be the spotlight specifically, but I like the pressure that is put on me. And I really love the performing. That's why I enjoy what I do so much. Because I love everything about performing.
Hmm.
Everything about it.
Yeah.
I love the preparation. I love the pressure. I love the people. I'm not trying to come up with all P's here, but it's just kind of happening. And so you start thinking about those elements and it's just hardwired into you.
Yeah.
Um, my publicist Samantha sitting just off camera, she's the same way. I know her story and she starts out in news as a producer, but she always wanted the camera. It just like sucked her in like a tractor beam and she gets the opportunity. She ends up doing traffic it's not what she wanted to do. She didn't go, I want to do traffic, but she's like, I want to be on camera. Well, that's what she's saying up here. Her head is saying that. Okay.
Yeah.
But her heart is going, I need that pressure,
Yeah.
right? I need the attention, and I need the pressure that the attention is bringing because I am a performer. So when we begin to really break that down, and I didn't ask her for permission to share that, but I know she's okay with it. But that's the idea. And by the way, that's hardwired. Nobody taught her that.
Right. Yeah.
Because by the way, if you got multiple kids, for parents listening, you got some kids that are like, show me the stage. That was me. And my brother was like, no, not interested. And
Yeah.
it just is what it is.
Yeah, I'm the same way. You and I are wired a lot the same way. Ever since I was a kid, I was a performer and entertainer. But the interesting thing is, that's been a gift, but also I can look back and realize how much I use that as a coping mechanism. If I make
Yep.
people
Sure.
laugh, or if
Sure.
I use humor as a coping, that's a way to heal. So again, it goes back
100%.
to finding that balance. But I love that in both directions. I'm a songwriter. I love to create
Yes.
something, and so I have that love for performance, I think, in both of those examples that
Yeah.
you've given.
100%. It's really fascinating to see that come out there. And again, you coaching people is again performance.
Right.
When someone pays you to coach them, you are under pressure. And that's when you are fully alive. Your heart is just totally pumping. And then the advocating piece. I didn't mention that. Even with your friend, the scenario you've given us, but then your actual clients or who you're working with, you are advocating for them.
Yes.
You are standing in the gap, if you will, for the client or for your friend
Oh yeah.
who's wrestling with this very difficult situation. You are advocating for them. You're going, this is what I think is best for you. And you said it earlier, this is who I believe you are. This is how the world sees you. And I want you to be the best version of you. That is, in fact, again, the passion of advocating. And then
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep going here because it's just the natural thing. That's why the result that motivates you most is to see a small fingerprint all the way up to a large investment in people. And you had some say in tipping over the domino of change.
I love that.
Look at that.
Yeah.
See, that's real. That's not because she thought what I said was impressive. It's because that hit your tuning fork, to
Yeah.
use a musician. Like that was, okay, we're in tune now.
Yeah.
Like we just hit that tuning fork for your heart. And I want the audience to see and hear that. That, like, you can't force that.
Yeah.
Am I right? You felt
You're
that.
100% right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So good. And I'm a fiercely loyal person. So when you hurt people I love, I'm gonna take your ear off and apologize for it later, which is
Right.
I didn't say it was a healthy part of advocating, but yeah, definitely.
Might be.
So good.
Might be. I mean, using that metaphorically, it might be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would
So
the world be a better place if we had people that took a stand and stood for right and wrong in situations where they've been standing by? I mean, I think of everything from, I see these videos on social media or the internet or whatever where some bad person is harming someone else and everybody's got their phone out videoing it. As opposed to, why didn't somebody jump in and take out the bad guy?
yeah.
Why didn't 4 or 5 people pummel the bad guy?
Yes.
If
Yeah.
you're going after an innocent person on a subway train, I am okay with the advocates of the world jumping in and going, we're going to take your ear off and feed it to you. Then we'll
Yeah.
hand you to the cops.
Yeah. That's pretty
Because
much
you're a
me. Yeah.
bad person. Right. So I look at that and I go, obviously we're not talking about violence all the time and
Right.
vigilantes. And I'm using an extreme scenario.
Right. Don't get any ideas on this podcast.
Yeah, we're not like promoting that, but I am saying that if you score high on advocating, you must step into that.
Yeah. So good. You must step into that. I love that.
Find the bad guys. Like, what's your bad guy? Is it homelessness? Is it drugs? Is it debt? Dave Ramsey's bad guy is debt.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, that's the idea.
Which totally goes in line with influence.
Yeah, 100%.
Producing change.
Because again, you're advocating. So for you, advocating is always for a person. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So for instance, there's 6 motivational drivers that people, you only get one. And we just kind of show you your primary one. We show you where you're above average on all 6. Those are based on psychology, by the way. So the 6 missional results in the assessment, and you get scored on all 6. In fact, show me give me your list. What was above average on the missional results? Because I'll unpack this with your result.
Okay. I connect with service, achievement, and efficiency.
All right. So service, achievement, and efficiency, those are above average for you, right?
Uh huh.
But then the I could care less is what?
Creation and solution.
Boom. I mean, so the reason I'm bringing this out is if if solution was your top result instead of influence, then the advocating passion would be I'm always advocating for a better process,
Okay.
a
Yeah.
better system. So I'm just tying it into you're so in the people category. And that's why, again, your next 3 above the average line were were what again? Service.
Service, achievement, efficiency.
Great. So the service is screaming people. I want to serve people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meeting them where they are. Um, achievement is I want to see results. Like I want them going, hey, that was amazing. You helped me. You like a scoreboard. You like being measured on was my advice, was my advocating, was my leading effective? And then what was the third one?
Efficiency.
Efficiency. You just don't like wasting your time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, I'll coach a person that is coachable. I'm not gonna keep trying to coach a person. See, that resonated with you. You're like,
Yes.
okay,
Right
if
on.
you ain't gonna listen to what I'm saying, then I'm moving on.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. That's what a
Brilliant.
leader. So I'm going into the weeds here because I want people who actually take this assessment to realize the depth of the information in here.
Yeah.
Like if you really walk through it, and I will tell you that we're working on it now. Like I want to go to the next level. It's like I wish I could teach everybody through their own results, and I'm going to come up with a way to do that.
Mm,
But to see the depth of this is to really see yourself so clearly that you emerge from this. My hope is that you emerge with tremendous confidence to go do the thing that your heart longs to do. And then here's the best part. Now armed with clarity and confidence, you will be courageous when life throws the curveballs and the dips and the dives and the roller coaster at you. You'll go, I'm
mhm.
going to stay with this because I know who I am and I know why I am that way.
So
Uh,
good.
it's knowing the who and the why. Like that's what this thing does. So anyway, well, we could keep going, but I was diving into that because it's my hope that you come out of this with more clarity than you've ever had
Yeah.
and more confidence
Yes.
in who you are.
It's been amazing. It's been great. I love it. Yeah. I've got a lot. My brain is going woo 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 woo.
Okay, tell me about that.
Just confirming things. I think just sometimes we just need confirmation from people that we're going in the right direction. We're doing the right things.
Yeah, not sometimes. We all need it.
Yes. Yes. Correct.
And then I would tell you, you need to revisit this purpose statement when you start to wonder.
Yes.
When you start to wonder about your why,
That's what we say.
go back to
often.
that purpose statement. Go
Yeah.
back to it, read it,
You-
and go, okay, this is who I am.
You lose your way when you lose your why.
Oh my gosh. Look, the doubters and the haters can really knock us off our path, and they're not dealing with all the information. The doubters and the haters never have all the information that we have.
That's
So
so
we have to retreat back to, okay, I got all the information. I know who I am. They don't know who I am. They know a little bit about me. But we give so much credibility to people who don't know a whole lot about us and don't care a bit about us.
Mm-hmm. So true. Wow, that's so good. So good, so deep. So talent plus passion plus mission equals purpose.
Purpose.
Okay.
It equals meaning. Let's go deeper. It means I'm getting better and my paycheck will get bigger. Let's get really practical. everybody that's listening or watching today, everybody would like to make more money. And everybody would like to live a life of greater meaning. Well, this is the secret. This is the secret.
Yeah.
Self-awareness and clarity of direction professionally give me the opportunity to maximize myself financially and emotionally because I live the life that I want to live. This is what the pursuit of happiness really means. That little phrase that Thomas Jefferson wrote that everybody kind of like just skips over. Well, he didn't come up with that phrase. That concept comes from guys like John Locke, a philosopher, and then even further back, the Stoics like Socrates and Epictetus and people like this. That they were. It was about it was about being the best version of themselves. It was about living the life that they chose to live because they lived in very hard times. And so the economic mobility and all that stuff that we have in America, despite what anybody thinks, didn't exist. It was kind of like, how do I live a life that is pleasing to me? And everybody still wants that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is a big equation.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
This is the big part of the equation because we spend more time at work than we do anything else.
So
and we get the potential greatest results to be able to live and pursue happiness from our work,
Yeah. Which is why, what did you say we need to be spending 3/4 of our time? Is that right? Love it.
Doing work that we're good at, that we enjoy, that produces results that matter.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, the purpose statement is the ultimate job description is what it is.
So good. Okay, so we've done the assessment. Now what are the next steps? Now we need to pick up, find the work.
What do I want to, so what is it that I really want to do, right? I know who I am. And, most people have ideas on what they want to do. And that's where they get tripped up. So they go, okay, I got this option A, and let's just make it simple, B and C. Okay, great. Option A, B, and C, the things that you've thought about, that if I told you you could try tomorrow, if you knew you wouldn't fail, you just get to try it. And you don't have to commit to it for 30 years. I'm going to try this. And so these would be the ideas that would pop up. So you start with, well, what would I do tomorrow if I knew I couldn't fail and I didn't have to commit to it? Boom, ideas. A, B, C. Let's say we only have 3, but you could have 7. All right. So we got the 3 and we go, all right, idea A. Let's look at idea A. And if we don't know how to basically describe what that job description or, what would that look like during a day to be successful at A, then let's go figure that out and get online and okay. All right. So we got A. And so this is what a day as doing A would look like. And we look at our purpose statement, which by the way, the purpose statement is the output of the assessment. It says, here's what I do best. Here's what I love to do most. And here's what motivates me. So talent, passion, mission. So we look at our results. You can look at the purpose statement, or you can just go page by page of your top 3 talents, just like we did with you. And you look at it and you go, all right, does this job description match up with what I know about me? In other words, a simple way to say it is, does this day doing option A allow me to use what I do best, do what I enjoy, and produce results I care about? And by the way, it's a yes or a no answer.
Right.
All right.
Black
option
and white.
B. Yeah. Option B. All right. And so we run this out. All right. So now that's how we clarify and verify. That's the process. We clarify my options and we verify whether or not it's a good fit. Does it make sense? Now, if it does, let's say option A. So I jumped ahead on clarify and verify. Clarify is, do A, B, and C, do they match up with who I am? Let's say that all 3 do. We got 3 yeses. Great. Now we go verify which one I really want to do most. And the way we do that is we go research and find out as much as we can about that path. Then, and more importantly, we sit with people over coffee, lunch, or dinner. And we ask questions of people who are winning in those spaces. Tell me the good. the bad, the ugly, about your path, about your day to day. And we get so familiar, think of it as doing a pretty decent college term paper on option A, B, and C with real people, multiple people. And all of a sudden now we've gathered everything, and our heart, after the head has gathered all that information, our heart will select, and there will be a clear winner. A might drop down to B, B moves to C or whatever, and C moves all the way to A, whatever, as it relates to what I'm most interested in. And at that point, we select one. We go, kind of, okay, that's the one I want to go. Now, here's the next process. All right. Now, I got to find out, what does it take to get qualified to do that? So, what skills do I need to add, or certificate, or degree? So that's what do I need to learn? What experience am I going to need? So while I want to be here, I'm going to have to start here. Every career path, every destination has a ladder. If I'm going to climb Mount Everest, there's a process and a path.
Right.
What's the path?
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at, what do I need to learn and do? How much is that going to cost me financially? And then the last question is, how much time will that take? And so to put this into really specific, when I started out on this path to broadcasting, I had no degree. I was 33 years of age. And so I mapped it out to the best of my ability and told my wife I thought it was going to be 5 to 7 year journey. It ended up being 7.5 years.
Mm.
So that's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so those 4 questions: what do I need to learn? What do I need to do? How much is it going to cost? How long will it take? That's what we do next. And now we have a destination, Mount Everest, and we have a plan to climb it.
Right.
And all of a sudden, watch what happens. The clarity and confidence take place. I have clarity on the mountain. I got clarity on the route. I got clarity on the cost, the time. I got a plan. And the absence of a plan creates tremendous fear. When a plan emerges, it creates clarity and confidence. And then we start, and we're climbing, and the winds come and the snow comes. And that's when courage keeps us on the mountain. And we get there. That, you ask me what's next. That is what you do with your assessment results.
Love it. And you help us define that in the book, right? You help us map that out.
Yeah, well, in the book behind me on my shoulder, the 7 stages are really unpacked in Paycheck to Purpose, and you had me on prior for that. But this new book, this new book picks me up with exactly how do I now pick the mountain, right? And it's like, how do I figure that out? Because that's what most people are looking for with the results, and then the rest of the content kind of comes in there.
Love it.
So this new book is short, and it's really to help me go, what are my potential mountains, so that I can choose a mountain to climb or a path, whichever metaphor you want to use.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. Okay. So where can we find the work you're wired to do?
Yeah, KenColeman.com. Super simple. That's the easiest way to get everything, and
And that's
it's right
where you
there
find
in
the
the store.
assessment too?
Yeah, well, the assessment comes with this book.
Okay.
So essentially, it's one product. It is an
Okay.
assessment and a short book,
Perfect.
and it's one purchase, and people can get it, and it's going to really enlighten and encourage a lot of people.
Well, it has me already in 30 minutes.
Good.
So
Oh, that's so
absolutely.
fun.
And
I
we will
appreciate
share,
you.
yeah, we'll share the link to that in the show notes as well.
Thank
So
you.
anything
You're
else
the
you
best.
want to share with us before we close out?
No, I just, yeah, I'll say this. You were created to fill a unique role. You are needed. You must do it.
Mic drop.
That's it.
Well, thanks so much, Ken, for hanging out with us
Thanks.
today. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Always fun to hang.
Man, what a great conversation with Ken. I always walk away inspired to keep pushing forward, and I hope that you do as well. And if you want to take the Get Clear assessment, you can find it at kencoleman.com, or I will share the link directly in the show notes for you, directly to that assessment. And again, you can find Ken's new book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do, wherever you purchase books, and I will also share the link to that in the show notes. If you have enjoyed today's episode, would you mind sharing it with somebody else that you think could benefit? Don't forget to leave us a review and let us know what you thought about the show. Sharing is caring, so don't forget to share with your friends. It means a lot to us, and it helps us stay visible so others can find us. Have a great week, and we will meet again, not just in the next episode, but we will meet again in the next season of the Workforce Link podcast. Until then, remember this: there's always a brighter tomorrow if you're willing to find it. The Central Region Workforce Development Board Incorporated and COPIC are equal opportunity employers and programs. Auxiliary aids and services are available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Missouri Relay Services at 711.